There we go. All right. We are recording. One thing to note here is when you guys are putting things in the chat box, because it's in webinar view, because I figured a bunch of people would be dialing in. We got 34. When you do you can say to all panelists and attendees. If you just select that all panelists and attendees, that way everybody kind of sees what people are typing, which will be helpful as we go through. All right, excellent. So it was approximately 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this morning, and Bailey and I were meeting. We actually were doing a blitz meeting. What is a blitz meeting? A blitz meeting is Bailey is my assistant extraordinaire, marketing director extraordinaire, whatever title we want to use. And as I go through my days, I might fire her an email, forward her an email, have a topic I want to discuss, and I'll say, hey, add this to the blitz meeting, add this to the blitz meeting. That way I can just throw it to her, and then we get together for a half-hour Bailey Kyle blitz meeting and just tackle all those different things. It helps us be efficient. So that's just a little tip for you. It's worked very well, and other clients of mine have done that with their key people. So just an idea. But we were doing that meeting this morning, and I looked at my schedule, and I had an open hour from 1:30 to 2:30, and I just had this feeling of, okay, here, priority number one, go in, set up a webinar in Zoom. Let's post on Remodelers community. Let's get a text message out to the text group. Let's get an email out. Let's just put it out there. People need to just have a place to talk. People need a place to get some ideas, some positivity, some encouragement, some perspective. I'm going to raise my hand and say, I do not have all the answers, but I do have a forum for us to chat. The way this is set up is that I can click a button to kind of unmute individual people. So if you have a specific question as we go through, I can bring people live and we can do that. The other thing we have is just the ability to use the chat box. So let me start with a few thoughts, and then we'll share some ideas. Kind of my goal here is for kind of three things. One, let people talk a little bit and just get some things out. Number two, just to share some positive, proactive ideas that we can all be working on in the middle of all this ambiguity and not sure what's going on and not sure what the next step is, and frustration and concern and all of that. And then number three, just give you guys some encouragement that, you know, this too shall pass. We do need to be safe. We do need to be smart. We need to be proactive with certain things. And just, we all need some encouragement. Okay. So I'm already looking at the chat box, but that's all right. Let me share a few things. Even if, like my boy Chris says there, I think this whole thing has been blown out of proportion, right? We're certainly not here to like debate that, and there's room on Facebook for that. You know, it has picked up steam. It's been escalating. All of a sudden now, you know, restaurants are closed here in Michigan. It started like this, it started like that. Now all of a sudden some building departments are closing. We're going to have some trouble with permits. Whether it's out of proportion, whether it is or isn't, it's the reality. And there's a lot of fear and concern and worry, and that's a lot of legit stuff. You know, there's a lot of people that have projects that you guys had in the hopper that you're starting next week that people are getting cold feet on. It's not only just the combination of the virus and everything that's going on there, it's also the stock market going nutty, right? And people kind of going, I got to think about this. I had a great sales call last week and great fit for some one-on-one coaching, and got an email back from them saying, hey, we're ready to rock and roll, but I want to put the parking brakes on this for a couple weeks. I just need to see how this plays out. And I respect that, right? There's a lot going on there. Okay. So with all of that going on, I was just talking to a client earlier today. I said, how you feeling? How you feeling? So actually, let me ask that question. I want some good chat box. Again, click on all panelists and attendees. That way everybody can see what's going on in the chat box. Answer that question for me while I share a few other things. How are you feeling? How you feeling? Talk to me. Put some of that in there, please. How many people we got here? 41. Okay. How you just feeling right now? Give me some context. Okay. Got some anxiety, stressed, a little anxious, encouraged, but still. That's a good answer there. Concerned, but optimistic. Okay. Lou said, okay. Rhonda, confused. Katie, unsure. Josh, settled in unsettling times. Okay. Fine, but anxious to keep things going. Cautious. We were set to move forward on our new design center, but we may pump the brakes. David said ditto to concerned but optimistic, a little confused as to what to do right now, but also optimistic, stressed. Sean, you already said stressed. You already said stressed earlier. You're still stressed. 2 minutes later. I'm feeling confident that it will all pass soon. Good. Optimistic but concerned. Cautious but confident it'll be okay in time. Stressed. It's been stressful for me. Seeing all the empty shelves in Walmart was scary. Prayed together in the office this morning. That relieved quite a bit of stress. Optimistic for the future. Long-term outlook still great, but short-term concern and stress. I'm okay, but pressure is building from the overreaction, perhaps. Remember both 87 crash, 2008 crash, perhaps more importantly, the aftermath of that. Production has slowed as guys aren't showing up to work. Okay. Interesting. Tell me more about that, by the way, Derek. A little concerned. Okay. So rewind the clock a week ago. If we did the same thing, one, there wouldn't be 42 people on the line. Two, the tone of that would all be a little bit different. Things are fine. Like, okay, and then the schools might close, and it's just continue to go. So what I want to kind of focus on is I'm going to share a few things that come to my mind of what we should be doing during times like these. And then if Bailey, you can kind of keep an eye on it. If you guys have some specific kind of questions, you can toss that in the chat box. They'll kind of keep track of that. Or if you say, hey, I'd love for you to just click, bring me live on the audio, and we can just even have a conversation through some things. Hey, Kyle, what would you do about that? Or any thoughts on this? So we can do it via typed, or we can bring some people live. So if you're willing to, hey, I have a question, unmute me, you can put that in there too. And what Derek said was somebody that said, I have a cough, so I think I should stay home. Another one due to childcare limitations. Okay. All right, cool. So one of the first things that come to my mind is communication. Communication to who? One that comes to mind, to active clients. One thing we have to realize, whether we think this is overblown, let's say a couple of my boys here that say, this whole thing's overblown. The people that you're working for, you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know that their aunt is in a nursing home in New York. You don't know that they have an uncle who is in, or a brother who's in Washington State who's been dealing with this for another 3 weeks and they've been clamped down. We don't know what's going on. My wife was not sleeping well the last 2 nights. She's just concerned. We're canceling spring break plans. We're doing things. All the kids are home. Like, there's a lot going on. So we have to be empathetic to that. And so when we think of communication, one, to active clients, you're coming into their home. We had somebody come in yesterday morning. I waffled on it. I'm like, HVAC guy, we just had a regular furnace tune-up. And I was waffling on it. Should I reschedule it? Everybody's home. He's going to come in. He's going to go downstairs. He's going to do his thing. He's going to leave. I think it's fine. Talked to my wife about it. We decided it's fine. Longest clean and check I've ever experienced. Dude was there for 3+ hours. Why? Because everybody's canceling. He's got nothing else going on. Right? It's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. Right? And he took care of it. But to our active clients, maybe they're a little older. Maybe they're concerned. Maybe we need to actively communicate with them. Secondly, we need to talk to the people that we have upcoming projects for. I've been thinking and talking to a lot of my clients about this here this week and Friday, of going, okay, there's fear in reaching out to that job that we're supposed to start in 10 days or next week, because we could get on the phone. They could be like, look, yeah, we're just not feeling comfortable about it. Wouldn't you rather have that conversation up front now so that you can make some plans and you can be proactive with it than Friday afternoon when you're going to start Monday? I think the answer is yes to that. The other thing is, when you call them up and say, hey, here's some things, we're taking this seriously. There's some things we're proactively doing. Anybody who is sick is not invited to our job site. My whole team knows that. We've got hand sanitizers going nuts. We're doing extra to just keep things clean and safe. We've got dust containment. We're going to be working on this side of the house. Being proactive with what your plan is puts people at ease. Some people still might not want you there, but I think getting ahead of it and communicating with them, I think, is better game plan than sitting there waiting to see if they call you to say, hey, no thanks, right? Communication, active clients, upcoming projects. The other one is to your team. Your team is worried that work is going to dry up. Your team is worried about what's going to happen next. We don't know if the suppliers are going to be shut down. If we're in Italy right now, the lumber yard is closed. Right? Home Depot, quote unquote, in Italy, I don't know if they have them in Italy, but the equivalent of that is closed, right? There ain't no building permits going on. So if we're there, that all happened. We don't know if that's coming here. We don't know what's going on. And our team is nervous about it, anxious about it. One thing that this analogy came to my mind earlier in the week, right when I started my business 12 years ago. I worked in the basement and I would come up and it was stressful getting the job going. My wife was a stay-at-home mama. We had one kid. Early on, she was pregnant with our second, and then we had our second. She was going through postpartum. I would come upstairs, and let's say I had another $1,000 I needed to sell between now and the end of the month, and there was 4 days left. I would go, oh, honey, I'm just so stressed. I've got this proposal out there, but I'm not sure if this is going to happen and this and that. I would just dump all of my stress right on her. And she was not able to handle it. She was going through postpartum. She was going through everything else. And it felt really good for me to have somebody else to dump that on, but it was not helpful for her. AKA, all of the concerns that you have, the big picture concerns, the financial concerns, is this going to happen? Yes, we need to talk to our team about it, but we need to lead well. There's certain things that we keep as the burden on our shoulders as the business owner that we don't need to just dump on our team. This is a time where we really need to lead well. One of my clients has a core value that says, great people. I value and appreciate the individuals that make up our team, so I encourage myself and others to grow and succeed. And this idea of, it's easy to say that when things are going well, but if one of your core values is you value your people, then you need to communicate well with them. You need to listen to them. You need to be proactive with them and explain what you're doing. You need to be looking up the unemployment insurance laws. You need to be looking up your health insurance laws. If you do lay them off, you need to be proactive in getting all that information so that you can lead them well, right? I'm trying to freak everybody out, but we need to be proactive. We don't want to just let things hit us. So that's some communication. I think that's important all the way around. So let me pause there. We've just been seeing a bunch of stuff kind of cruising in here. Does anybody want to kind of go live for a minute and just ask some questions or share some thoughts? If so, I can go live. All right, Rhonda. There's 47 of you. That's cool. All right, Rhonda, you are live now.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hi, Kyle. So, hey, I'm from California. A lot of
gnarly, dude. I'm sorry. That whole thing I just shared and the fear and all that was very serious, and I'm glad we got it out there, but we can also have a little bit of fun and levity.
We all need a little silliness. How about that?
Okay.
As far as like our company, as of yesterday, we are all on modified schedule. My husband and I, Brad, are working from home today. I have, let's see, office staff. I only have a designer that's there today because the client still wanted to meet. We are proposing, so the designer is there. And then my business coordinator is there as well, just because she's handling all the accounting. As far as current status, I did have some jobs drop off.
Hang on, I'm catching up with the comments. Amanda thought it was funny that I said gnarly.
Gnarly?
Yeah. Do you guys actually say that in California?
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't.
Okay.
But for you, we'll say it.
Fair
gnarly. Anyways, let's see. So yeah, I had 2 large projects drop off. One was only, we'll call it 50,000. The situation there, the husband has an autoimmune disease. Nobody can be in the house. Doctor said no.
Sure.
As far as the other job, it is a $525,000 project. They are elders. They are also huge in the stock market and do not feel comfortable right now.
Yep.
We feel that they will come back eventually, but it's going to take time. What's interesting for us is just as I lost that 525, I had actually, and I know a lot of you are going to probably cringe, we did send an email out on Saturday, an emailed bid, because it was one of those things where it's just a range. We felt we wanted to share it. Their budget was about, well, it's not really a budget. They said they had available funds. Immediately was 250. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, 250 is not going to cover it for their remodel, and we were in the range of 470 to 525. Emailed that over on Saturday, received a call yesterday. and scheduled the design meeting.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Lost
So
one type of
yeah.
thing.
So, so several things I'm hearing there. One, of just different ways that you guys are working. Two, when we hear like both of the examples that you gave of they need to pause, they need to not do the project. Of course, you can't go in that home when they've got this going on, you know, autoimmune, or, you know, the up there in age for the other one. But we need to be reminded and encouraged that, you know, this is going to pass. Now, the frustrating thing is we have no idea what's going to happen from here through the next 15 days. We don't know what day 16 through 30 is going to look like. We don't. We got no clue, right? But what we do know is that this is going to pass, hopefully sooner rather than later, hopefully 3 weeks from now, hopefully 4 weeks from now. And we can start getting back. Like, I can just already see it where the articles start to turn where it's like, okay, you know, the new infections are way down. Like, okay, we've got no new infections today. Hey, restaurants are now opening up. Like, we can see that's going to be happening. And we need to keep in mind that this $50,000 project you just described, Derek, I saw in Remodelers community, you posted a $275,000 project. A lot of those projects will happen. Some of them won't. Some of this, the stock market is going to really squash it, and or maybe we get into a little recession and people are going to get gun shy. But a lot of these projects will come back, and we need to keep that in mind and realize, again, we don't know, but it could be, you know, we're talking 5 weeks, we're talking 7 weeks. We can weather that. Of course, if it turns into months and months and months, that's a bigger problem. But we have to keep in mind that a lot of these projects are going to come back. Rhonda, do you want me to?
I did want to add.
Yes.
I actually did have 2 small projects. They are past clients, and when I mean small, they're both, we're going to say they're under 30,000. I canceled. Well, basically I said, hey, you guys are on schedule for, I think it's like April 6th or something. At this point, we are going to have to cancel this project. One customer was like, okay, fine, no problem. And then called this morning and was like, you know, we considered this, we're okay with you guys coming and installing. And we just want to let you know that. And I was like, well, I appreciate you letting me know, but unfortunately, I'm not set up for that. I am on modified schedule, including all my employees. I do not have the staff to run this project currently. Another client really got mad at me, and I never expected that. Now, he's a little hothead to begin with, and just kept telling me, I have to go to Ohio. I have to go to Ohio. And I'm like, so go, you know, that this isn't affecting you. This is an office. This isn't surgery. This isn't, you're not going to die if your office doesn't go in. I was very disturbed with that yesterday. It did kind of add to the negativity of the feelings. And I talked it over, and
People are not, right. And people are not at their best right now. People are high stress, right? And maybe that guy's already bent towards being a little bit of a difficult person. Sounds like
from day one.
You know, and it's one of those things of like, we can't over, you know, when things are normal and we're going through sales opportunities and somebody says no, or somebody says this, like, we can analyze it within the context. Okay, what could I have done differently? That's a little bit outside the what's going on right now. Everybody's just a little bit, we're in the middle of it, right? And there's so much unknown. So, all right, cool. I'm going to grab a few. Go ahead.
That I'm going to just finish is our current appointments that we did have this week. I have notified everybody. We have asked to postpone these meetings. Some of them we have discussed Zoom calls. We've discussed video conferencing, all sorts of fun things. I am giving clients the options of this. Some are actually very on board with it. Some are, some are like, nah, I'm okay with just waiting. Yeah. So all in all, our biggest thing here, and I think that is kind of with everybody, is the building departments. I have a lot of jobs that are in the middle of permitting aspects. So far, we're good. They have not, matter of fact, I've been waiting for 3 months to get a permit for a job. And it went through a second revision, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm so paranoid that they're going to close the building department before I get my permit. Permit's ready for today. I'm going to pick it up.
Rock and roll.
Whether or not there are people there. I want that.
I'm going into the building and I'm getting the permit. Thank you very much.
Yes. Cool. So I'm just preparing because this, this is a job that has been waiting for this permit for 3 months and wants to go. Excellent. And it's a job that's been 2 years in the making.
Good. So good. excellent thoughts there. I'm gonna
Done.
disable your talking, and then I'm gonna invite somebody else on. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Yep. Who else wants to kind of get on and chat? I'm gonna, as we're waiting for that. Somebody was asking, Zach was asking on virtual sales calls, and Rhonda was starting to touch on that a little bit. We're on Zoom. You're, normally on Zoom, you're looking, like when I do my one-on-one calls, I'm looking at them, you're looking at them. Zoom is excellent. I've done thousands of meetings on Zoom. It works beautifully. I can record it. I can share my screen. There's all kinds of things you can do. Part of it is get your butts on there, download it, and experience it. Get somebody on your team. Get your spouse. Get somebody else. Hey, dial into this. How does this work? How do I mute? Okay. Oh, if I have a client who can't do it on their computer, but they can do it on their phone, download the stinking app on your phone and practice it. So often with technology, because we've never done it or used it before, we're intimidated by it. So dig into that. There's a lot of different programs. I highly recommend Zoom. Very easy to use. So get in there and test it, because what we can do is say, hey, let's not meet on Thursday, but let's meet on Zoom. And I know it's different, but it's video conference. It'll work great. The person on the other end of that type of approach is going to say, okay, sounds good. If you say, hey, I don't feel real comfortable meeting on Thursday, I mean, we could do a video conference, or we could just kind of reschedule it out. That person more times than not is going to say, well, let's just reschedule it out. Now, all of a sudden, instead of having that design review meeting that could move things forward, that could give your designer some things to work on, all of a sudden we're out another week, another 2 weeks. So embrace the technology, get familiar with it. Zach, as far as anyone holding virtual sales call on the Remodelers community board, Paul McManus, he's an innovator. Boom, he popped it up there and he's like, look, we're doing virtual meetings. Here's what we can do. Here's how we can do it. Let us know if you're interested in it. So get on there. And then also, like Rhonda, what you were saying related to emailing the bid, at least, grab now I don't want to confuse the funny words, the rhyming words, but Loom, Loom, allows you to click a button. They can see a little video. They can see your screen. You say, hey, I updated this design for you. I wanted to show you what we did here. Boom, boom, boom. Or, hey, plumber, when you guys get out there, what I wanted to show you is I'm going to show some pictures here. We need to do this. We need to do that. There's a lot of different ways you can use it. You can present proposals that way or contracts that way. And then when you're done recording that, you click a button and you have a link. It's very simple, very easy. Okay.
All right.
Just want to kind of come on live. So we're talking communication, we're talking virtual meetings, allowing people to kind of talk and communicate. I saw somebody saying, look, we're going to double down hard the next couple days, get a couple of our trades and a couple of our guys in quicker so that we can try to get the next permit before the end of the week. Because once we get that, then we're freed up for 2 or 3 weeks before the next permitting stage. That's being proactive with it. I've heard other remodelers really pushing to say, okay, I'm looking at what projects I have coming up. I'm going to get those materials. I'm going to store them, and I'm going to make sure we have everything and be proactive, a little bit more proactive than I normally am, so that we have that going on. What other questions do you guys have? Type it in there. And I saw Katie posted a TED Talk. She said, watch this TED Talk as a team this morning on stress. It was great. Sounds like everyone needs it. So if you scroll back up, you'll see that. Amanda's saying this is not an unending situation. Luckily, most of our projects are under 100K, so we're able to offer financing to ease some of that. All right, cool. Give me some other questions, or if anybody wants to go live, let me know. So those are some different things, the virtual meetings, the materials. I'm looking at my sheet here. I was on a meeting yesterday with other coaches, consultants. We meet once a month, and somebody was talking about some of the different unemployment rules. And if I am in some of your shoes where I have teams out in the field, and if things kind of start to dry up a little bit and I might have to look to lay them off, okay, it's also good to even say those words. If this happens and I don't have any work for my team, I may have to lay them off. It hopefully will only be for a week or two. Even just saying that, it's an option. It's something you might have to think about. Is a healthy thing, is a good thing. But the other big thing is to really dot the I's and cross the T's. If you're able to go to your team and say, look, we're hoping this is going to be a week and a half. It might be 4 weeks. I've already checked. Here's how the unemployment works in our state. This is the form you fill out. This is how it works. It gets you 60% of what we've been paying you, blah, blah, blah. That's a lot better than, hey guys, I'm just not really sure. I think you might have to file for unemployment. Get proactive with it. Take care of your people, even if it comes to that bad step of needing to lay them off, right? Look at, if you provide insurance, how does the health insurance factor in if they go on unemployment? Study that, call your insurance agent, understand it so that you can lead and effectively present that to them if it comes to that, okay? That was something I thought was pretty important to look at. Come on, people, give me some questions. Somebody else come on live, or else I'm going to keep going through my list here. We were talking a little bit about, I was saying, give me some silver lining, people, to the group I was with yesterday. And they said, well, I cleaned my desk today. Haven't had time to clean my desk, kind of got organized. All right, that's good. Somebody else brought up the fact that they're home with their family a lot, and how often are we longing for the opportunity to have a little bit more balance in our life, to spend more time with our kids, more time with our spouse. Maybe look a little bit of the silver lining. My family and I have spent more time together in the last 4 days than we had in the last 4 weeks before that. It's been nice. It's been interesting. It's been good. A little frustrating. They're also a little obnoxious because they're frustrated at staying home and they're little, right? Silver lining, people are in their houses more. They will feel the things they don't like about it more deeply. Good. Handed out gift cards yesterday just as a thank you to employees. Good. Good. Share some takeaways that you've heard so far in the chat box as well. Little reminders. That's why we're here, is some of that. Katie said, it also presents opportunities. Home offices are becoming a priority. My daughter is now home from college indefinitely, and I'm trying to get a place ready in the basement. These are things we can address on social media. These are remodeling projects that could happen. Good. Good. Thanks, Katie, for sharing the TED Talk. I was planning to watch that later today. Yeah, Amanda, not right now because we're live and we're doing this, but later you can. Not right now. Good. Come on, there's 47 of you. Give me some more items here. Some other items that I have of, make sure we're informed, but that we're not obsessed with it. Over the weekend, didn't really have any meetings, we were kind of lounging around a little bit in the afternoon, and it's good to read articles. It's good to understand what's going on. It's good to do that. But yesterday was even nicer. I was keeping myself busy with some meetings, with some work, and I had gone all the way through the day and hadn't consumed any news. And I'm like, that was so nice. My wife told me something. Hey, did you hear about this? I'm like, no, I didn't. We need to be informed, but make sure we're not obsessed with it. It's so easy to just get head down into the social media feed and keep, what about this? What about that? What that could happen, that could happen. How about we step back from that and think, if I'm thinking on the business work, what's something I could work on the business? Maybe I go back and watch that webinar on the sales process. Maybe I go back and watch Kyle's 10 tips for a solid marketing plan. Maybe I could listen to a few webinars. Maybe I could call a fellow colleague in the industry and just check in on them and exchange notes and see what they're going through. There's a million things we can do that's proactive, that's more positive, that's more optimistic, that's more helpful to the current situation. Even going through and saying, all right, I'm going to create a contingency plan. Let's say crap really hits the fan and everything dries up. What am I going to do then? What does that look like? Make that plan out. Look at your expenses. Look at your cash flow. Look at your savings and really look into that. Doing a little bit of that work right now might be a helpful thing to do. Finally, know your numbers. Yes, sir. Finally, know your numbers. FM Khan says, since the projects are taking longer due to the virus, are people delaying the projects or talking to their vendors about porta-johns, etc.? Interesting question. See if anybody's doing that. Longer rentals for that. Interesting. Something even that happened yesterday, I'm sitting here going, okay, yeah, it probably doesn't make sense to go down to Gulf Shores, Alabama. My sister-in-law is an epidemiologist. We talked to her, kind of get a feel for what's going on, and she works for the Department of Health. And, she shared a few things, and we're like, it's probably not good to go down there. Well, all of a sudden, I had $4,000 that we spent on this beautiful home down in Gulf Shores, Alabama that's back in my bank account today. And I thought, that made me feel a little bit better. Maybe we need to look at some of our expenses. Maybe that truck that we just had to have, or that piece of equipment that we had to have, maybe it's time, oh crap, I didn't build up my retained earnings. I don't have my cash where I need it to be. Maybe we need to look at some of our expenses. Maybe we do need to cancel that vacation and get that money back. Maybe we do need to sell that vehicle that's kind of helpful to have, but it's not a necessity, and start getting that proactively to build up a little bit of reserve that could take the pressure off of needing to lay people off or needing to cut back on other, more meaningful expenses. I'm brainstorming with you guys, people. I don't have all the answers, but I've been thinking about it. I've been talking to people about it. And these are some of the things that are coming into mind. You guys are fairly quiet. Let me pause here. How are you feeling, people? Give me some other words like we did at the start. Either how are you feeling, or give me a takeaway of something you've heard that's been helpful or encouraging so far. Write something that's been helpful or encouraging so far. Okay, Katie said list of things to communicate with clients. And are you looking for that, or we kind of covered that a little bit? Yeah. Let me know. Music is made between the notes. Oh, Zach Nolte, getting all fancy on us. Did I actually say? I know I'm elegant and eloquent, but did I say, guys, remember, music is made in between the notes. I get what you're saying there. I didn't say that. We covered it. Good. Jared said the same. Like, communicate with clients. I've been hearing a lot of that lately. As I've been talking to people, I'm like, have you talked to the project that's coming up next week? No. And most of it's because of fear. Like, we don't want to get on the phone for them to say no. We want to hear bad news sooner, not later. Right now, it allows us to maybe call that other client and say, hey, we have an opening. Can we do this? Because that project is a little bit more exterior work, a little easier for us to work there. There's things that can happen. David said, I'm going to be looking into Loom, Loom. Good. And that's a tool where you can record a quick little video, record your screen, and then the best part of it is you click a button and there's your link. It's very fast. It's nice to hear from others that are in the same issues. Right? We're all going through this. We're all feeling, kind of the fear and concern and worry. And most of that is we don't know what's next. It feels like the shoe's going to drop, right? Okay. I'm going to send out positive communication about our plans with their projects. Good, Jake. I called my clients and had chats with each of them, right? Being proactive with that, empathizing with them a little bit and hearing that. Excellent. Zach, you have no comment on the music is made between the notes. Zach, if you could, I don't know exactly what that means. Could you expand on that and please make it eloquent? Okay, I've been working on utilizing social media more. Does anyone have any suggestions for what we can post to encourage our customers or people who visit our page, or maybe a blog post or an email? So that's an interesting one where, when I was talking to my mastermind group yesterday, these are other coaches, consultants. One of them had kind of a product launch that they were planning on doing, next week. And I've got this Remodel Your Sales Process course that I was getting ready to promote. It was going to start on April 15th. And when we were talking yesterday, it's like, it's just not the time. You know what it's time for? Getting on a Zoom call, sending it out to all of my people and saying, hey, let's talk about some ideas to help encourage you, which all you guys are posting. Hey, it was good to hear this. This is something helpful. That's why we're doing this. Now's the time to lead and to give value and to help and to encourage. And similarly, we've got to be very careful on how we're promoting what we do. I saw one of my clients post something and kind of just said, hey, now's kind of a good time while you're in your kitchen. Maybe you're interested in doing a kitchen remodel. And I saw a message, because I'm on the admin of it, one of the admins, and it said, are you really promoting your kitchen remodeling services when millions of people are losing their job? People are on edge. So Amanda, when we're thinking of like, what could we post? Think about whatever you post needs to be helpful to the person that's consuming it, not self-serving. Frankly, that's a good frame of mindset for all of our content we're creating, but especially now. I was just going through, and Bailey and I were working on, let me share my screen here. Here's some, I'll give you guys a few ideas here. So I was working on just a few posts that like some of my clients could post. This one I'm still working on, but kind of the tone of it is this has nothing to do with remodeling, just a post to encourage you as we all continue to walk through these times together. We're all taking things day by day, trying to keep things moving forward. Let's work hard to keep everyone healthy, and hopefully things will get back to normal soon. Still working on that, but kind of an image to go along with that. This one maybe promoting a little bit related to kind of virtual meetings. There's design work and planning for your remodel that can still happen. Virtual meetings are now available to help keep everyone healthy and practice social distancing. We'll be offering virtual meetings using FaceTime, Zoom, and other video chat services on your computer, phone, or tablet. We can walk through your remodeling project together, answer your questions, and get a few simple measurements. Reach out if you're interested. So something like that that's applicable to what we're going on, that's happening now. There's going to be some people that go, that'd be kind of an interesting thing to do. I've been thinking about it. So that's out there. Letting people know what's going on our job sites. We're committed to keeping our clients and employees safe and healthy. Here's what we're doing on our job sites. We're continuing to operate and serve our remodeling clients on a safety and health first basis. I actually grabbed that line from Kuhn Construction. They just sent something out earlier today. And we continue to monitor the situation to follow CDC guidelines very closely. But here's some of the things on our job sites that we're doing. So just continue to think what would be helpful to them, what would be also non-confrontational. Anything that says, we're operating our remodeling business just like before, come on, power through it, that's going to get a lot of negativity. But just saying, look, on a safety health first basis, we're going to continue to monitor it, but this is what the current situation is now. That's a helpful thing to post. As we get through it a little bit more or things start to calm down, one of my clients called me on Friday. He goes, all right, I want to write on our board out front of our showroom, the sky is not falling. My wife thinks that it's too soon and not appropriate to do that. Kyle, break our tie. And I thought, too soon, right? There's going to be certain people that are like, heck yeah, everything's fine. Everybody's overblowing it. Then there's going to be other people that are like, oh, you want to take a very serious situation in our country and our world and make fun of it, right? Too soon. So, Amanda, those are some thoughts related to that. I don't like how Zach is digging you in private instead of sharing with the rest of us first. Yeah. Oh, did he not post that? Oh, see, he just did that to panelists. That David, if you guys are not social distancing, if you could slap him, please. Joe Reed, we've started advertising our small jobs division called Gold Glove Care and Repair. It's got a nice rhyme, Joe. It's an effort to keep our guys busy and help folks with their small jobs. Hopefully it's a win-win for us and our clients. Innovate, right? If we were talking 4 months ago and you're a remodeler and you're saying, look, we're doing we're on pace for 1.5 this year. We're doing big projects. We're charging for design and estimating. Our average project is $75,000. Should we take on small jobs? I would talk to you a little bit and say, how are leads coming in? No, stay the course. Take those bigger projects. If you have something that comes in that's not from a previous client, turn it down. That would most likely be the strategy. Not necessarily the strategy right now. Joe, you're getting in front of it going, okay, we want to keep our guys busy. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's time to rev up a little bit of our small jobs division. So Amanda, a little bit of content that says, hey, in this time where people might not be, having the stomach or be interested in taking on big projects, maybe there's some things around the house, interior, exterior, that you've been needing to get done. We can help with that. Colin said, when I was golfing with the owner of Pellicorp in 2008. Colin, are you a good golfer? We've never golfed before. Why have we not golfed? Owner of Pellicorp in 2008. He told me that real money was made in a down market by preparing when others can't and won't prepare for the up market. What can we do to position ourselves ready when the tide turns back in our favor? Ditto Paul, and pin the link and then upload. Hey, Paul, is that Paul M. McManus or G. McManus? Paul, you want to go live for a minute? Allowed to talk is not available because Paul is using an older version of Zoom. You need to promote Paul to a panelist. I don't like giving Paul this much power, but Paul, you are now a panelist.
No, I had an older version of Zoom.
Here, I was just about to bring you on because you're innovative and you're on the cutting edge. You don't even have a stinking updated version of Zoom. I'm joking.
Hear me?
I can hear you now, sir.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize I had an outdated version of Zoom.
I don't know why it even happened.
I think that would update automatically. Yeah.
Cool. So, Paul, you've been if anybody's on the Remodelers community, Paul has been, I shot you a note earlier, you've been very proactive with this. And even what you were saying yesterday and today of like, guys, we got to be optimistic. We don't know what's going to happen, but let's continue to innovate. Let's try the virtual meetings thing. Let's do this. Let's be proactive with communicating. A lot of the stuff we're talking about is stuff that you're tackling. What else is kind of on your mind, or what would you tell the people?
I mean, I think, and from my point of view, everything's going to go quiet for a few weeks. So steel yourself. I don't care if it's virtual. I don't care if it's small division. I don't care what you do. I think people are a little scared. And I think for a couple of weeks, you can just expect a big slowdown. And so get ready for that. I think after that, we're going to see return to normalcy. And I think virtual meetings and small divisions and all this other stuff is going to make a ton of sense. Like anything, I think you've always got to think, what do my clients need and how do I respond to that need? If you do that, you're going to win.
Yeah, good. Share a little bit more about your virtual meeting, virtual tours, and kind of how you're approaching that.
I think a lot of people are on the same page with this. We're just planning on FaceTiming or video chatting with our clients, walking through the project together, just like we would in real time. We do have a measuring guide and a tutorial that we will email them in advance so they can prepare a little in advance. If they send us pictures in that measuring guide in advance, it'll make the video chat meeting smoother, easier.
Yep.
We ask better questions. And that's all we get from on a home visit anyway. And then we'll put together our good, better, best budget. And then we can review that just through a Zoom meeting like this.
Bailey, remind me to look up. Paul and I did a webinar where we kind of went through the good, better, best. Now might be a good time to kind of dust that off and look at that. Made me remember that. Yeah. So what I'm hearing there is it's not as excellent as if we met in person. It might be a little clunky. It's going to take a little getting used to, but we're going to try it. We're going to use it. Amber Valley just said like we schedule our first Zoom virtual meeting today. Like we've got to what I said earlier. It kind of came to me of like, get on there and test this thing out. Like get used to it. Once you're comfortable with it, you're going to realize, oh, this can work. We can make this work. Be proactive with it. Back to, I'd be curious your thoughts on this, Paul, and then I'm going to answer Colin's. Colin, you said, what can we do to position ourselves ready when the tide turns back in our favor? A couple things that come to my mind is, one, maybe a silver lining is there's some people on your team that you've been needing to get rid of that are kind of that D+, C- player that you've kind of been hanging on to. Now might be the time where you cut bait with some people, which positions your team stronger. Man, the thing that just keeps coming to my mind is I'm kicking myself for not yelling louder over the last year. Guys, things are really good. Save money, save money, save money. I might even say it a fourth time. Save money, build it up. Cash is king. Things are going to change. We don't know what's going to change, but things are going to change. So, that's the other thing is let this, especially if, what I'm hoping is that we all get freaked out because everything slows down, our cash gets a little crunched, but we're all okay, and then things get back to normal. And what that feeling does is all of a sudden we take making sure we're charging what we need to charge, having our markup where we need to mark it up, not being stupid and buying a $50,000 truck when we could buy a $25,000 truck and put the other 25 in the bank, right? That we get that crunch to feel, okay, I've got to be strong financially. So those things come to mind, Colin. What else would anybody else say, or Paul, what else comes to mind that says, what can we do to position ourselves ready when the tide turns back in our favor? Anything come to your mind?
I mean, I think if that tide turns back in our favor, we're back to business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. I don't know if there's anything different that I would need to do. I think Derek, somebody, I forget his last name, he said something really smart.
You sure it wasn't Kyle Hunt? It was something smart you said?
He might have stolen it from you.
Oh, okay.
He said what he learned from 2008 was when things go bad and it's out of your control, remember, it's not your fault. You're doing everything correct, and you just need to keep doing that. And when things turn around, they will come back your way. Like some things just are out of your control, but that doesn't mean you change your behavior and you change your attitude, change how you want to, run your business.
Or even the small service division type thing that might be for the next 2 months. And then you're like, wow, that really helped us kind of, go through it, and then maybe you go back to your strategy where, you know what, it's still not a great fit for our business, so we're going to go back to our bread and butter. Just making changes and testing things out and trying things and trying to innovate does not necessarily mean that's what we're forever going to do. But so often it doesn't feel perfect, or we're not sure exactly how it's going to work, so we hold off from implementing, versus just the best way to know if something's going to work is to get it to, a path that, or a format that works enough that you can launch it. Because the learning is once we get it out there, like that page you created for the virtual meetings, get it out there. And then as you start to do it some, now we can go back, I'm going to tweak this, I'm going to change the wording on that based on, how it goes.
That's right.
Jake said, go ahead.
Well, I'll just say one thing about the virtual meeting, because I put that together last night. I didn't really talk to my staff about it. I talked to them about it this morning, and they were all like, "Nah, we don't know if that's a very good idea," because they really like the in-person meetings, obviously. And I said, "Hey, listen, it's an experiment. In 5 years, in 10 years, at some point, this is going to become, everyday practice.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we practice now? Why don't we start figuring it out? Why don't we be leaders in this?" And it turned them around. They were like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It actually evolved into, well, even after this is over, why don't we offer a few options? We charge for our home visits. So why don't we say, we're going to charge you $225 for the home visit, or do a virtual visit, we'll charge you $125. So we'll give you a couple options there. One's more accurate than the other, obviously. One you might prefer versus the other. But and they're like, yeah, that's a great idea too. So it's already sort of evolving into something that I think strengthens our marketing anyway.
Because we pushed back through the first initial one, you just did, and you were running with it. And two, you pushed through the initial kind of objection. Well, I mean, we don't like to do that. Okay, but let's say if we thought about it, what about trying this? And then all of a sudden we get past that, and then now new ideas pop up and go, oh, well, we could do this, we could try that. That's how change happens, right? That's how we need to implement things. All right, cool. Thank you, Paul, for jumping on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've actually got to go jump back on a different call, but I
Peace out.
I didn't want to miss this. I thought it was a great idea for you to do.
Cool. You're back. Your power is about to go from your body. You were a panelist, and as of right now, you're just a garden variety attendee. Bailey and I still have all the power. All right. I just reached out a minute ago. I'd like to meet. All right. So I was seeing if my 2:30 meeting was going to happen or not, and it looks like it is. So here in the last 10 minutes or so, let me go through my notes just to see if there's anything else kind of that I really wanted to make sure I covered with you guys, and also just to go through some of the things we talked about. And then what I want you guys to do is share with me what are things you're actually going to do as a result of this conversation. So you can start typing that in. What are some actions that you're going to take as a result of this conversation? Hey, there's fear. So I'm going to kind of rehash some of the stuff we went through. There's fear, there's concern, there's worry, there's frustration. It is very frustrating. Few things are more frustrating than wanting to plan and wanting to know what's coming up and just not having any of that clarity. Right? Things seem to be going on a trajectory of making things harder for us, not easier. We don't know how long that's going to last. And that's just, we're going to have to live in that a little bit, and be empathetic to our team about that, be empathetic to ourselves about that, realizing that this isn't going to last forever and we'll get back out of it. The unknown is hard. Continue to reach out to each other. Share, maybe I'll do another one of these later this week or early next week, just to kind of keep the conversation going. Make sure you're just talking to people, letting people talk, letting your team talk, reaching out to colleagues of yours, friends of yours, checking on how they're doing. I just got a note from my boy, Brett Olexon. I saw him, and he goes, "Hey, Kyle, how you feeling? Just thinking about you. Wanted to check in and check up on you." He knew I was sick last week, but he's just checking in. Said, "Check up on you, my friend." So more of that. We need more of that going on. Be really patient with our, it's something that maybe is applicable to some of you, but I got home. My office is kind of solitude, so there's not a lot of people around. But I got home yesterday, and my wife, I could tell, she's wore out. Being with the kids all day, trying to do some homework and teaching and this and that, and amongst it, make sure we're also, just leading well at home for whoever that's applicable to. Just kind of taking the load off of our significant others or our spouse, or that looks like. Being patient with one another, that's important. Good. Communication. I hit on communication a lot. I think we can't over communicate in this to our active clients, to our upcoming projects, to our overall team, and we need to make sure we're leading well. Virtual meetings, we talked a lot about that. Go learn how that works. Test it out, download it, sign up for a free account, see how it works, see how you click share screen, see how you invite somebody else. Work on that so that you know how to do it, because once you know how to do it, it opens that whole thing up. If you're like, well, it sounds like an interesting idea, but you don't actually go to zoom.us and download it, you're going to kind of be like, maybe, maybe not. Clean your desk. Maybe it's an opportunity for better balance. Look at your expenses, see if there's anything that you need to cut back on that you could sell, that you need to sell, maybe a vacation to cancel, that side of things. We didn't talk about it, but understand the disability insurance, understand unemployment insurance for your team. SBA's got low interest loans. You heard about that from the president. Now the details on that are out. Let this be a reminder that we need a solid OCRA account, a good retained earnings account. Talked about contingency plans, meditate more. Okay. Our office staff. All right. So give me some additional takeaways, and we'll close up here in the last couple of minutes. What are some other actions that you are going to take? Our office staff is all working remotely, and we had our first team meeting today on Zoom. All good. Good. We're still keeping our in-person meetings, but setting the expectations of not shaking hands and keeping some distance. Good. Delay all the scheduled social media posts as they may seem disconnected. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's be careful with what we're posting. And again, try to post content that's truly valuable to them or helpful to them. We've also installed Team Viewer to allow our office people log in from home if needed. Excellent. My email inbox has never been more organized. Some silver lining. Excellent. Going to work on getting more organized here in the office. Make sure we're fully prepared and ready when busy season hits. Looking forward, realizing that this is going to pass. Let's make sure we're not caught flat-footed. Write a newsletter to all clients and prospects. Call all current project clients. Yes. Have a similar webinar with our franchisees. Keith, excellent. Excellent. Starting on the newsletter, pulling pictures from Dropbox, just something kind of on the business, Carrie, a little marketing stuff that you can do. I've been meaning to get organized with that. Good. Lou said we created a worst case budget scenario where we can break even with a 50% drop in business. That right there is valuable. When I was talking about a contingency plan, numbers are scary when they're unclear. And when things are not looking beautiful on the financial part, that is the time we most want to bury our head in the sand and just pretend it's not there. Lou, what you just described of saying, all right, let's play it through. We have, a big time drop in business. What expenses would we keep that we definitely have? What expenses are a little more optional? Would I take a little bit out of my business, out of my draw or my salary? If that happened, what would that look like? And then you toss all that going. And now all of a sudden we've got, we know that, okay, worst case, we can break even if our business drops 50%. Now you're dealing with facts. Numbers don't lie, right? And that gives us peace. That gives us peace of mind. And that also, just like a business budget when it's in positive times, gives us clarity on how to run our business and goals for our monthly sales and what our expenses look like, and tell us what our marketing budget is, and we can plan and organize and see if we're on pace. The value of that, there's also value in seeing what the negative, the crappy P&L looks like and budget looks like, so that we can have the peace of mind of going, okay, even if 3 out of 6 of these people say no and they got to hold off, one, keep in mind, they're going to come back most likely, several of them. And number 2, even if 50% drop in business, we're not going to make any money this next month, this next 6 weeks, but we can be okay. That's important. I also shared this plan with the team yesterday. Excellent, right, Lou? That's what we're talking about, is they are concerned. They're worried. They're waiting for the next shoe to drop at work. They're waiting for the next shoe to drop outside of work. For you to say, look, guys, even worst case scenario, we drop 50% in business, we're still gonna weather the storm. I'm still gonna have a spot for you guys. It may get a little dicey for a little bit. We don't know how long this is gonna last, but I'm working in here to lead us well, to make sure we're solid financially, and to make some decisions based on that keeps you guys protected as best I can. To let people know that is huge. It's huge. Bailey said, FYI, this webinar was set up for 1 hour and it's about to stop. I don't know if it actually stops or not. I think it keeps going, even if it's just 1 hour, but excellent. my goal with this was to share some ideas, to get you guys to share some ideas, to give us an outlet to just kind of hear perspectives and talk. And my biggest thing, anytime I do any kind of teaching or any kind of content, is I want to see some takeaways where what we covered is actually stuff that you're going to put into action and put into use. And now more than ever, we can't sit back and go glazed eyes and stare at the news and get all concerned and worried. Yes, there's a time and a place for that, but we need to be in a posture of proactively doing some things. There's a lot of things that we can be doing and working on that are positive, that are helpful, that are setting ourselves up for success in the future. Yes, it's unprecedented times, it's weird times, it's odd times. This too is going to pass. Be encouraged by that, and get some work done. Most of you are part of Remodelers Community, the Facebook group. That's been a wonderful place just to hear other perspectives, what everybody's working on. Let's keep being active there. Bailey, make a note. Let's share these posts that I showed. A couple people wanted to see that. We can share that on Facebook, on the Facebook group, or just shoot me an email or whatnot. Kevin says, great information. Kevin, you are just wonderfully optimistic. I just knew that when you said great information, you were going to triple exclamation mark. Triple? Yeah, triple exclamation mark it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Also share. Good. All right, give me a one-word close. Gnarly webinar. No problem. No problem, Lou. Give me a one-word close. How are you feeling? Still stressed and crazy and all that? Probably still, but what are some other one-word closes? How are we feeling right now? Stoked. Okay, now we're just getting California. Thankful, thanks. Better, optimistic, ready to go to the city and get my permit. Rhonda, you go through, you demand it. You get through those doors. Chris Miller, blessed, better, proactive. Woo! Our work here is done, folks. Excellent. All right, keep your head up, guys. Keep working hard. Wonderful. God bless you too. All right, Tony's still stressed, but he added some D's, so it's kind of a playful stress. He's like, stressed. I'm still stressed, Kyle, but that was helpful. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. Pumped, thankful. You got this, Tony. All right, adios, peeps.